Hello, my name is Fenna. Welcome to Following Fenna. I am a certified coach and counselor, and I work with people in a limerent episode and also with their partner. Now, limerence or unhealthy attractions, unhealthy relationships feel so strong. Today I want to have a look at, is this love or is this a trauma bond? What's the difference? But also, why are trauma bonds so hard to leave? And in this video, I will answer that question. Trauma bonding refers to a strong emotional bond that is formed between an abusive person and their victim. This is a complex psychological phenomenon that occurs in abusive and unhealthy, also in limerent relationship. A trauma bond, in a trauma bond, the victim or both victims, because sometimes both people are the abusers and the victim at the same time, they become emotionally attached to their abuser. So this is about attaching, and often due to a cycle of intermittent reinforcement. And I talk a lot about intermittent rewards. Now, in mutual limerence, for example, we are both the victim and the abuser, and we are exposing unhealthy behaviors towards the other, and we're not offering each other a safe and calm and healthy relationship. Now, sometimes our limerent object, meaning the person we're obsessed about, is the abuser. But in any case, the abuser/abusers alternates between periods of kindness, affection, sometimes love bombing, and also periods of abuse, manipulation, withdrawing, doing a push and pull, neglect, silent punishment, protest behavior, etc. And this creates a pattern of highs and lows in our reward system. And unpredictable rewards on an unpredictable scale train our brain into addiction. And once we are attached/addicted with this person, we need this person in order to regulate, in order to feel calm. Now, what are typical signs of a trauma bond? There is this instant, strong attraction. We call that the glimmer. And people describe this as a wow, a deep connection, understanding this person immediately. And most of my clients remember the first eye contact, and we give that so much meaning. We give that so much meaning for someone we just met and basically don't know at all yet. We ignore red flags in a trauma bond. And after a while, there will be shame about this bond. There will be lies, we defend the bond, and there is overall unhealthy behavior. Name-calling, manipulation, abuse, becoming less happy, losing the sense of self, actually not liking this person, talking bad about this person, diagnosing this person, losing your self-esteem in this relationship, being upset a lot of time, doing a lot of crying, feeling lonely, gaslighting, and also warnings from other people, from family, from friends, righteous critical towards the relationship. Now, why does something so unhealthy feels so strong and appealing? How can that be? Well, the trauma bond can be reinforced by several things. And the first one is, of course, attachment. And we often confuse love with attachment. But the fact is, we can get attached to anyone. And then we kind of need them. And it has little to do with love, since love comes from a more, how do you say that, independent and optimistic and empowered place, a happy place. And what we typically feel in a trauma bond is attachment and not happiness or love. Our nervous system mistaked this person for an important attachment figure due to the attachment wound that we picked up somewhere in our childhood, due by our own trauma or by our inherited trauma. Our nervous system gets upset when we make an attempt to detach. And then we start to bargain, which is normal in a grief process. We start to bargain in our mind and we seek them again, which makes a physical relief for a short period of time, but relief is addictive. And here you see the addiction cycle playing out. We try to say goodbye. Our system gets very upset. It makes us feel really bad, even withdrawing, because detaching hurts. It's supposed to hurt. We don't want to feel bad. We start to take the feeling bad as proof that detaching is not the right way to go. We start to bargain and we want to keep this person somehow in our lives to regulate. We bargain and we continue, we seek contact. And here you have the cycle. Another reason to stay in a trauma bond can be fear and intimidation. The victim may feel a deep sense of fear and intimidation as the abuser may to threat with violence or plays out other forms of control to maintain power over them. And this fear can make the victim feel trapped and dependent on the abuser and also scared for their safety. Or they're afraid what will happen to them if they break this bond. Will I ever be happy again? I mean, detaching is very scary. It's actually one of the most scary things in our system to us humans. Mother Nature doesn't like us to detach. It's scary. We are afraid. We cannot look into the future. We're afraid that we're never going to be happy again without this person, which is not true, by the way. Number 3, what keeps us in a trauma bond is isolation. And victims often isolate more and more from friends, family, and support networks. Now, the victim may have limited access to outside perspective or alternative sources of support, which can further strengthen the bond with the other person, and I call them the abuser. Loneliness is a massive trigger to get limerence/attached to the wrong person. And then if we throw in some Romeo and Juliet talk, as limerence sometimes do, saying things like, oh, I need this person in my life, I can't live without this person, and we're soulmates, and we can create a feeling that the other person is the only person that matters. It's the only person we need for us to be happy. Number 4, cognitive dissonance. The victim or victims may experience cognitive dissonance, and this is a psychological phenomenon where conflicting beliefs or conflicting emotions exist simultaneously. And if you're limerent, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. We have a lot of biases. Hope is a bias. Hope can be so toxic. The sunk cost bias, thinking that if we invest just a little bit more, things will be better and we will be happy with this person. And this internal conflict can deepen the emotional bond. We can get defensive towards our limerent object when other people start to question our bond and question if it's that healthy. And even though we kind of know it's not healthy, we still want to make and think it's healthy because we don't want to let go. Another important one, loyalty. I see people in limerence or in unhealthy relationships, they are incredibly loyal towards the other person. And from an outsider, it is easy to say, what are you doing? Why are you so loyal to this person? When, you're losing yourself, you live for hope. When things in the here and now aren't that good, you still keep hoping and you're so loyal to this person. Why? Again, it's easy for an outsider to judge this. Again, your system mistaked this person for a very important attachment figure. And very important attachment figures, we need them evolutionary for our survival. So evolutionary, it's very handy if we humans are equipped with a tremendous sense of loyalty towards our attachment figures. If we weren't, we would not survive as a species. So that's why we are so loyal to them. Besides that, what I often see in toxic relationships, in limerent relationships, is that we become limerent for the damsels in distress, the broken ones, the sad ones, the ones that are depending on us, or the ones that we want to help, financially or emotionally. So that also creates a sense of, I promised this person to be there for them, and now I have a hard time taking back that promise, or I feel the obligation towards this person to be there. Number 6, dopamine. And I know I give dopamine a bad rap, but dopamine keeps us in toxic situation because what it does is it takes one moment where we felt good with this person, and of course we had that moments. Even if it's one evening or one talk, and subconsciously it gets hardwired in our brain, and dopamine is telling us, it's predicting and telling us that we can feel as good as then in the future. So dopamine makes us follow the dangling carrot around, wanting to feel this again, wanting to be happy, wanting the big prize and the happy end. And trauma bonds can make it extremely challenging for one or both to leave this abusive relationships. It can create a tremendous strong attachment despite the harmful dynamic. And the victim may struggle to imagine a life without this person. I tell you, life without this person is so much better. But it requires external support and maybe therapy, and maybe have a look at your attachment style and where this stems from and what resources you can use to break free and reclaim your autonomy in the future and establish and look for and accept healthier relationships. Now, the good thing is, unhealthy relationships can teach us a lot. We can take the lessons from this practice relationship to never enter an unhealthy relationship again. We can learn how to date healthy, and we can learn to express our needs, and we can state what we want and deserve, and we can also even heal old wounds. If you walk out of an unhealthy relationship, even though you love this person, you are giving yourself a tremendous present, because it reflects back to you that you can choose and be proactive, and you will survive. We walk away, we endure the pain, we know and accept that it's going to hurt until it gets better. And once you are out of the withdrawal, you can start to work on yourself. Like I said, heal old wounds, talk to a therapist, look at why this bond was there. What basic need you wanted to fulfill with this bond, and try to get it in a healthy way. If you want my help in one-on-one coaching, please send me an email. My email address is in the description below. And for now, I want to thank you so much for watching my video. Please leave a comment, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.